Hey guys, this is Oshin. This is going to be my actual review of this deck, which was sent to me for review by Liminal 11 back then, a few months ago, just getting that out of the way. And I think that's a good thing to mention because I wouldn't have picked this deck up if it was just for me. I looked into reviews, I heard people's opinions about this deck, I looked at the artwork and I was like, yeah, it's cute, it reminded me of cartoons that sometimes we watched in the morning when I was growing up. Our cartoon selection was quite different than, what people get in the US, for example, or, in the Western side of things. But we had a few, I can't name any, obviously right now, but Popeye, how do you say that in English? I'm assuming it's Popeye because there's an I. The Sailor was one of those, so I was kind of thinking about that realm. That was the thing that popped into my head. I don't think we had anything exactly like if it was, mystical medleys. I don't know the actual if there's even one thing that was behind the inspiration of this deck. I'm assuming it wasn't, I'm just blabbering right now. But I looked at the artwork and I was like, but would this read for me? No, I don't think so. I don't need it. So I was like, okay, another deck I don't need to buy. Awesome. And then, I was fortunate because I contacted Liminal 11 and they were the only ones who were like, yeah, we would like you to review some decks, which was awesome of them. I do want to emphasize that. I said that in my initial first impressions, which will be linked down below if you're curious about my first thoughts, or if you just want to see the cards, there's going to be a flip through linked down below as well. So yeah, that was a big thing that I was taken seriously in that sense. And then the two decks came. The first one, which you already able to watch by this point, the Sealansical, was the one that I thought that I would be absolutely, keeping. That was my wow, awesome, And then turns out that because how I read cards, unfortunately, we're not meant to be together for a long time, which kind of sucks still because that's a beautiful deck. But, if you're not connecting to something, there's just no point forcing it, or at least I don't think so. And, if you love something, let it go and not push it. I'm gonna stop. But with this one, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna just show the cards and play around with them a bit and then probably gift it to someone that I know that would love it, or or something like that. I would let it go. And then I don't know why I decided that I would start using it for the Deb her trial readings. I did all the readings with this one deck, and that was such a good decision. Obviously not made by me, it was made by my higher ups, because conscious me wouldn't have done that. Because turns out this is an actually really, really great deck for me, which is, everything that I say is for me. The art is awesome, Liminal 11 is awesome, everybody who creates a deck is awesome. If I say anything, critical, there's not going to be a lot of criticism in this one, just saying this is an absolute, I'm loving this deck and I'm just telling you why. But even if I say something that, why something is not working for me or why something is working for me, it doesn't mean that it works for you. My only hope is that the more we talk about decks in the long run, how they pair up with other decks, which you will be able to see in the second part of the video, or how is the guidebook? What can you expect from having this on your table doing readings? What sort of readings were they good for me? The more you hear about these things, the better informed decisions you can make, because buying decks just for the sake of buying is not a luxury that a lot of us can afford. And even with that, it's still gonna be a trial and run. That was an interesting Freudian slip. Trial and error run, which this deck is a great example of, because like I said, I wouldn't have picked it, and now it features in my irreplaceable decks video. I found out that this deck is perfect for everyday situations where emotions are involved, because I have one that I use for financial readings, that's Deviant Moon, that's my merchant type of kind of word that I use for those type of readings. But if I just want the, what is going on in an everyday situation, like if someone is asking for their work, but not, the work itself, but workplace or family relationships, I will be using this deck because it's just great for that. So after that long intro, which I'm sorry, but who knew I still love talking to you guys, not just to myself. I'm gonna show you the box is the typical. I mean, if you know what a typical liminal 11 box with the devil featuring, which is kind of cool. Which was the card, by the way, that started this whole deck. And I forgot, but I'm gonna link. Oh god, Gary. Okay, I'm so horrible with names. Gary Hall's Instagram, because he's working on a complimentary Oracle deck, which I'm not gonna lie, I would love to have that deck. So I'm hoping that I will be able to get it at some point, because things are interesting these days in this part of the, I would say world, but I will say Europe. So yeah. So yeah, yeah, I'm not buying a lot of decks these days because prices are so high, and just this is the depressed part of the video. Let's skip it. But he's working on an Oracle deck, and he posted a few of the cards, and it's completely the same design, and it looks really cool. I like the keywords already. So these are this is the box inside with a sun. I hope you can see. So yeah, that's the typical liminal 11 deck. These are the backs, which I still think that it's cool and cute and everything. Let's put this one somewhere. But the reason being why I mentioned the depth her trial, that if you want to see this deck more in action, you can check those videos out in actual readings, and how they worked for me. So this is the deck. I already pulled out my favorites and the guidebook. The guidebook is an actual hardcover, which is also a thing that Liminal 11 does. But first, let's talk about the cardstock. The cardstock, at first, when I got the deck, I was like, yeah, it's kind of papery. What is this feeling? I don't think I have any other deck that feels like this in the hand, but to be honest, this paper feel is matching the deck so well that I don't even mind. And you can shuffle it easily. I think it's durable, at least it feels like. I'm not hard on my cards, so that's something that you have to factor in, that I'm not shuffling them in a way that they would break, but I think they can endure a lot, which is a good thing. They are pretty much standard card size. I still don't have a standard Rider-Waite-Smith deck, so I'm using my favorite possibilities card from the Oakish and Thorn, because hello, there's the dragon, to show you the size. So yeah, it's typical tarot size. There's 2 extra cards, the Happy Squirrel and the Sad Squirrel, which I kind of like, and I didn't know because I wasn't a big Simpsons fan. I watched a few episodes when it was on TV here, but that was not something ever that I went after watching it. But I didn't know what the Happy Squirrel meant and why it was part of tarot decks, but that someone linked it in one of the lives that I was in recently, and I watched that episode when there was, I think, the death card that the fortune teller pulls out at first, and it's like, oh, it's not a bad card, it's transformation and blah blah blah. So I was like, yay! And then there's a happy squirrel, and I think Lisa was getting the reading, and she's like, oh, it's a happy squirrel, it's a good thing. And then the fortune teller is like, oh no, you never know what does that mean. And there's just a funny jab at tarot readings and tarot decks in general, but I was kind of reading the happy squirrel as a happy card, and the sad squirrel as a sad card, but I might just change it up knowing this now. And yeah, I do leave my extra cards in every deck because maybe it's because I really like reading, doing readings with multiple decks. So for me, it can be just an extra card if I want to, but if I have assigned meaning, I treat it how I would treat any other cards. You know, I don't feel like it takes away from a reading if the extra card comes out. So yeah, I'm gonna put it here. Okay, sad squirrel. Oh, because let's, you know, the sad squirrel now means something good, so we're good. Okay, so I talked about the card stock. Favorite cards. One of my all-time favorite, if not my favorite, 801 still is, you know, the witches are coming. I think that's just it's just so much fun. And I was if I don't think I will remember linking it, but I was a guest on Lady Night. Oh, I forgot Maria's channel's name because I'm just, you know, horrible with channel's name, but Lady Night of something, you guys know. I will try to, you know, link it somewhere. But I was a guest on her channel and we talked about the fives, and that was a really great live. I learned a lot, and you know, we were talking about the fives and this card was featured in it. And how I read the Five of Swords is being selfish, but not always knowing what you do with other people, because for some reason, you know, sometimes you are bigger than the other people, like physically, and you do something that makes them feel inadequate or just, you know, worried or anxious or even afraid because you don't realize what you do with other people. And sometimes this card can be a bully. And, you know, like I said, in everyday relationships reading, a card that represents bullies is a very useful card. I just love Strength was featured quite a lot in the trial reading that I did. And it's kind of, you know, like let's be kind, let's try to tame that lion and not hurt it kind of feeling. I love this Queen of Pentacles because how I read the Queen of Pentacles these days is my I don't even know how to say that. It's the representation of that higher power that I believe that exists and is out there to take care of us or try to help us. It can be Mother Nature, it can be the universe, it can be guardian angels, whatever, however you designate that energy. I kind of have this, you know, in personal readings, it came out quite a few times in a way that now I associate that energy with the Queen of Pentacles more than anything else, and I really like how this queen looks. Temperance is fun, you know. I just love how fun this one is, and being a bit crazy. And this being one of my birth cards, it's kind of like I can see that. I love this Knight of Cups. I love the fact that, you know, he has, I'm gonna say it's you know, he's drinking tea, because it's kind of like, oh, I'm gonna be very polite, I'm gonna be very cordial to you, and you know, I'm gonna, you know, come in and offer you tea and stuff like that. And I just love, I don't know why, but the fact that he's drinking tea on you know, while horseback riding is just awesome. Justice card is one of those faces that I had a problem initially. I don't think I have a queen of something anywhere close. I forgot to. I mean, I was thinking about pulling one out, but of course then I decided against it, and now I'm like, but it's easier to explain it if I show you guys a face like that. And I don't have any of the queens, obviously, because like I said, it would have been easier. So I pulled out the queens when I was doing my first impression, because I kind of didn't like their faces. They kind of looked like they were terrified, and I don't, you know, associate, of course, thank you. I mean, I was looking for the Queen of Wands because that was featured in the Depth Heard trial a lot. And you know, when I first looked at this card or the queens, I was like, I don't like this face on them. I like them to be confident, obviously. But during these readings, every time a queen came out, almost every time, I think, it was representing someone who was put in a situation where they were feeling really uncomfortable. And the Queen of Wands really represents actors and people who like the stage, who like to be the center of attention, but they were put there in a situation where they even didn't want to be. So this has the expression was bringing in the shadow side of things from a new perspective for me, which I really appreciate, because I never thought about reading the card from the point of view of someone who doesn't want to be in the center of the attention. Especially if that someone is used to being there and used to loving that. And this card just brought that energy so clearly and message into the reading that I was like, oh, now it makes sense. So, I believe things happen for a reason. I got this deck for a reason, and this was the reason why these cards work so well, because you look at the Justice. Doesn't it make you uncomfortable thinking about, especially if you're from the US, but to be honest, everywhere, there's just so much shit is happening in the world right now. But doesn't it make you feel really uncomfortable when you think about how the law is working right now, how it's not, what's happening in all kind of justice systems and stuff like that? And that represents us and, the system itself being, okay, something is not right, we need to correct things because we're not doing things correctly. Also, please don't look at us because we're just people and we're kind of trying our best and we're kind of feeling right now and stuff like that. It can bring that aspect out of the cards in a reading, which I think is a very useful thing and a very unique. I don't have any other decks in this aspect. So those were my favorite cards. Okay, let's leave the Eight of Wands here. So I'm just checking my notes, by the way. We're done with the first section of the review. Second one is the guidebook, which is going to be the one where I'm a bit complaining because, okay, I love how it looks. It's a hardbound. It's, it's like, oh, awesome, yay. And the quality is awesome. Okay. You get enough description for each card that you can start using the deck if you don't know anything about tarot, which is great. I love that. But you don't get pretty much anything of the specific images, which is, if you know me a little or if you've been subscribed to my channel, which please do that. It helps me. Like, subscribe, do all those YouTube things that help my channel, help me. It's a pet peeve of mine that people don't include better or more description of the actual artwork in guidebooks, because what we have here is great. It's it's very well put together. Like I said, it grabs the meaning of the card and all awesome, thumbs up for that. But I could get this from just any tarot books. I could get it from the Rider-Waite-Smith's Little White Guidebook, or any other pretty much guidebook. What I can't get is why there's one eye for the Hierophant. Like, just explain me more why. Okay, the one of mine is like really interesting card is the Fool. And I should have showed you the card, but I have no idea, how close I am for the camera because this is a new setup. But the Fool has a pyramid, and is that the Illuminati, I think, pyramid, and there's some explanation for one eye which I really liked, and that was like, why I don't get more. Are you able to focus with one eye, or are you blind to circumstances and stuff like that? And I'm not saying you need to explain every little detail, and sometimes maybe, you know, it's just me overthinking that there's more to the cards than just the style, and it's not. But that's a pet peeve of mine. Why are the Empress looks like that? You know, like I know how I'm going to read it, but I would have, you know, appreciated getting more information about the cards. For example, why like, okay, it's with the Temperance is unleash this superstar's great potential, but why does the angel look like he's on an acid trip, stuff like that? I don't know. I would have loved more explanation for the artwork. Look at the queen. I don't even know. So yeah. Like the Queen of Wands is talking about a charismatic confidence that, you know, this queen has, but yet the you know, the way she is depicted is not exactly like that. But maybe it's just me and the style. But you know, that, like I said, it's a pet peeve of mine. I want more. I want to hear more from the artist, pretty much. And if the artist doesn't have anything to say, because like I said, I don't claim to know, and it's probably just my mind that I want to have, you know, an extra meaning for everything. Then I just want to know that, you know, like a small sentence that I'm not giving you more description of the cards because this is it. And then I will be like, awesome. I know. Yeah, I know. I have issues. I didn't say I didn't. But yeah, pet peeve of mine. I want the guidebook to be more about the actual artwork than just the general meaning. Because like I said, I can get that from any tarot books. So yeah, it will be a chance to add something new. Okay, that was the guidebook. Another question is how usable it is. Like I said, it's a great little guidebook. I think if you read it through once and you get familiar with the meanings, you don't need to keep it out on your table, because sometimes, you know, you have a deck where you have to have the guidebook at hand. I forgot to talk about the spreads, which I really like. You know, there's one, the 3-card usual, but I really like the light camera action spread. There's a spirit scale which is connecting to the chakras. I haven't really used that one because I don't work with chakras, so my mind doesn't go there when I think about what sort of a spread I want to, you know, do. I'm a 3-card spread kind of person anyway, but this lights camera action, I think it suits the theme of the deck so well, and it's a good one. You know, it's about you being the lead in your own movie, you know, the movie about your life and stuff like that. Who's helping you as the director, what's the setting? So that's a good spread for this one. I'm gonna start. I think this video is going up after I started the new series, but I'm gonna start a new series called 3 decks on the table or something like that, where I'm going to be actually using a deck with a spread to show you how it reads, just doing quick readings, and then mixing all the 3 together to show you how those 3 interact, because I think that's, you know, useful. And when I'm going to be using this one or doing this deck, it's going to be the light action camera spread. So if you're, you know, interested in seeing that in the future, please like, subscribe, hit that bell icon, and do those all things. Okay, I stopped. Deck pairings. Okay, let's see how to do. For some reason, I kind of want this to be on the left. So this was an interesting deck because I didn't really use a lot of pairings with it. I don't know why. It kind of feels like, maybe it's because the style is having that oracle-ish, cartoonish style, that it kind of felt like an oracle within the cards. I don't know, I can't really explain it, but the few decks that I used and I really liked using was the Building Relationships Oracle. They are completely different, you know, style and everything, but Yeah, I'm struggling with space. The messages works, I think, so well. Like Five of Swords, reflection. What do do you see your own reflection in other people? What do you see? Do you even know if that's your reflection? Like, are you just coming from that selfish space, or not knowing what you do space? But I was talking about earlier. Words, right? Why is the honesty card upside down? Yeah, I sometimes manage to shuffle them. Ah, God, honesty and strength. Like, do I even need to, really tell you about it? Queen of Pentacles with commitment, being committed in a relationship requires great foundations and requires actually doing something that will show the other person that you care. And how I read the Queen of Pentacles is that nurture, caring kind of energy, Or it could be that you're committed to self-care or caring for other people. Yeah, come on now, deck. Why are we upside down? Yeah, sometimes. Like I said. Oh yeah, I remember now. It was on the... I was not shuffling, I was just pulling cards when I would use this last time. Temperance, friendship. Ha! You need to find a balance, give and take. Friendship needs to be that equal. I'm helping you, you helping me sort of energy. So yeah. Also, Knight of Cups with pedestal. Don't put any romantic partner on a pedestal because they going to fall. So like I think you can see that these two work really well together. So everyday relationship readings. This is my relationships deck because that's why I made it. If you're interested, link in the description. But they work very, very well together. Okay, next one that I used a few times. Oh God, struggling with space because I don't want to edit the next one. Is the Star Codes Astro Oracle, which I lost the card immediately. And this one, I kind of feel like the aesthetic works, or the aesthetic is more close to the other because of the, I don't know, the drawing, the not photo side of things. Knight of Cups with the Beloved. Immediately the card gets a new meaning. I love that. Justice, structure, the keywords, and I don't know, visually I think it works because if you let yourself just look at this card, what's in the center, how things are connected, how they build up on all together. And we have that with the justice system. It's not just one thing. It's things that are building up, things that are working together, and sometimes you don't even know how things are connected because you're in the center of something that's happening and you don't see the outer elements of the system because it's a complicated system. Queen of Wands with immerse Cancer. Oh, emotions. The Queen of Wands is a very passionate one, and sometimes burns their fire more than they should, and this could be a reminder to pull back and go back to the root why you're passionate about, find that connection. Also, both of them are really creative, and I really do love this. I would love a tarot deck with this style. Just saying, just putting it out there in the universe. Oh, the set squirrel with abundance, but didn't I just, change the set squirrel's meaning to something great? We have abundance, so I think it's, it's just great. It's fun. It works. I like I said, I'm a very keyword kind of person, keyword based, or I don't even know how to say that. I realized that with Oracle decks, I absolutely live off the keywords. I mean, no surprise, my decks have keywords. I'm not into the... When I'm doing readings like this, I'm not into the... I'm gonna pull an image and just, look at an image and just look at it. It could be working, I mean, but negativity, naming what I feel helps. Yeah, with the set clear. And the last one was something that I used a few times, but because of it's more about the quirky writing style, Crystals, the stone deck of the guidebook, I think, or the cards, why this deck works so well with this deck, which was a funny sentence. Let's get something else. Because, you know, at first they're like, a stone, who cares? But we have aventurine or aventurine, I don't know how you say that in English. 5 of Pentacles, show off your sparkle is the key sentence. But we have, you know, description that can be making a little fun of the meaning, or taking away the seriousness, because sometimes, you know, the 5 of Pentacles is not that you're actually isolated, it's more that, oh, no one loves me, no one understands me, and getting into more of the everything, you know, I'm the center and no one understands me, and oh, it's so bad for me and only me, kind of, you know, sometimes you need a reality check. That's what I'm trying to say. And it's heart-centered, happy-go-lucky vibes are a reminder that this life on earth experience is supposed to be fun, which can be like, okay, but how do you experience fun when you're going through hardship? And who needs it? Melancholic inhabitants of ruts and funks, anybody with a side hustle. And it's kind of like when you're in here, you need something to get out of it. And sometimes that can be just, you know, some stones. So and we have a when to use it when you find yourself in a crisis of confidence and it's time to wake up, clean up, and re-up your shine. So yeah, I kind of like how, and I don't know why, but visually I really like the whiteness of this card, of this deck, against the illustration of the Tower. Thanks, but no thanks. So 3 of Pentacles with the blue card side, act on your dreams, and just seeing if there's yeah, it reminds you of, you know, being calm and you know, work with other people. So this one, it's not reconfirms the meaning, it adds something, a new side, which I really enjoy. I mean, I enjoy the fact when, you know, oracles can just confirm that what you did in a reading. I really appreciate synchronicities like that. But when something new is added to it that forces you to look the meaning from a new angle, I really love that one as well. So yeah, that's something that I used a few times and appreciated how it changed the reading. Okay, so we're done with the deck pairings. Now 2 questions remains, which I kind of answered already, so yeah, what a surprise. How unique this deck is, and could I replace it? And since I told you that this is in the irreplaceable, which I cannot still say word, tag video, I think that you can guess that nope, I cannot. I used to have the Santamuerte for relationship readings, but that just, you know, I was not connecting to the art style, so I gifted that one away. And now I don't have any other deck that would read for those type of relationships. This is how it looks on the table if you want to look at cards while I talk. Very hard not to do a reading, by the way. So yeah, currently I don't see how I could replace it. So yeah, no, not really replacing it. I mean, we're not talking about the future, so who knows? But currently, with the decks that I have, this has a very clearly designated place in my, you know, tarot library, because I kind of like that expression. And the next question is, did my initial impression hold up? Well, my first impression was that this deck is not for me, My second impression, which was filmed, was it's kind of interesting, but you know, I don't think I'm gonna keep it interesting. And then yeah, it didn't. It actually turned upside down, and it's just showed me that how important to actually experience decks. Which, you know, it's very hard to be mindful about getting decks when you know that sometimes you have to see a deck in person to be able to realize if it's for you or not. That's why we need to, you know, try to connect with other people who have decks, meet up with them, and, you know, show them our decks, and, you know, maybe get a chance to see some decks we don't have before we buy. I think that's a very useful thing. So, you know, if you have people around you who do tarot and have a collection, don't be shy. Go ahead and, you know, try to connect and do these things, because they will help you immensely, I think, deciding if you want a deck or not. At least that's my personal experience. But yeah, I'm gonna finish here. Hope this was useful. Honestly, I like watching these type of reviews from other people, so I always ask you to post these kind of reviews, or if you have some, you know, playlist that you already post something similar, and it's not necessarily, oh look, there's a flying little thing, name that, or post a link in the description so other people can see it. But yeah, please like, subscribe, comment down below. Those all help my channel. If you're interested in the building relationship deck, check the description as well. And yeah, thanks so much, and see you in the next one. Bye!